Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. Thank you so much for dropping by this video. This is in response to a question I got on Quora about free will. Oh my, what a deep, fascinating, profound topic. I always just assumed in the existence of free will. And then I studied some Hindu philosophy, and there's one particular school I really studied that said, no, we have no free will. Everything is determined in advance. And I found that very unsatisfying. But I didn't have a response to it. Well, now I do. And it's based on the teachings of Christ as shared by Bruno Groening. And it's profound, and it's really been life-changing for me, and I hope it is for you. So, the essence of what Bruno taught on this topic is this. We are a soul, and we're not a body. And as a soul, one of our capacities is the capacity to receive. To receive primarily two things, energies and thoughts. Now, not all energies and not all thoughts are good or helpful. Especially, I'm going to focus more on thoughts today. I really had a profound realization of this. One day, a couple of years ago, I was just walking down the street having the best day ever. It was sunny out. I was enjoying the walk. I just felt good. And then all of a sudden, I forget the specific thought, but it was something like, Janet hasn't called me back. And then another thought came. She never calls me back, which actually wasn't true. Janet calls me back often, but she never calls me back. And then another thought, she's so selfish. And then another thought, why am I even friends with this person? And within about 40 seconds, my day went from an amazing day to I was just feeling so resentful. It's like I couldn't see the world around me anymore. I just had all these negative thoughts. Luckily, I caught myself. I said, whoa. I don't accept these thoughts. I don't want these kind of thoughts. I gave them over to Bruno Groening. Please, Bruno, have these negative thoughts. Please, God, send me some good thoughts. And I was able to pull myself out of it. However, if I hadn't have caught it, what would have happened? I would have just been in a funky mood that might have lasted 20 minutes, an hour, a day. I might have gone home and left Janet a voicemail. You never call me back, or done something rash. Why? Well, Bruno Groening points out, thoughts move a person to deeds. We primarily act based on our thoughts. Now here's where it gets really interesting. But what determines our quality of thoughts? Bruno Groening says it's our will. I'm trying to remember the exact quote. Bruno Groening said, man acts according to his will. As his will, so his thought. The thought moves man to deeds. Meaning, we have to engage our will. If we engage our will either for the good or what Bruno called evil, not good, depending on what we're seeking, not seeking like a goal, but seeking either God or not God. That determines what kind of thoughts we have, and then that determines what kind of actions we take. So that's the first piece, that we have this capacity called will, and we can engage it. I found this out very strongly about 2 weeks ago. I was going through all sorts of stress, a lot of stress, day after day, stress, feeling anxious and unwell. I had some very intense regulation. And at a certain point, I was like, I don't know what to do. And then this teaching of Bruno's came to me. And I said, I'm going to overcome this with God and Bruno and Jesus' help. And I'm going to rise above this. And I am just going to have faith that this is going to pass and this is going to heal. Because it kept happening day after day. And so I just engaged my will. I said, I will overcome this. The feelings didn't go away immediately, but I kept engaging my will for the good, my will for healing, my will to be connected to God, and my will for faith. And it carried me through until got a little back to normal. So there's more to be said on the topic of free will, but let's take a moment now and do it. Let's engage our will for God, our will for the good, and our will to receive the divine healing energy of God. Please sit with your legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, hands on your legs, palms facing upwards, back in a relaxed, upright position, if possible, not leaning against your chair, and close your eyes. Now give away all problems and burdens. Give them over to God or to your spiritual helper. If you don't have one, I highly suggest Bruno Groening. He's a fierce spiritual friend. And have the will, the intention to receive the healing life energy of God and observe your body, noticing what you feel, having the intention to take this in. Just observe your body. If it helps you to relax, play a piece of music, quiet, gentle piece of music. We'll do this for a couple minutes. Engaging your will to receive, engaging your will to rise above all problems. Noticing what you feel. Having the intention to take in all this goodness, the goodness of God. I'm going to talk a little more. Please do continue to take in this good energy. So, Bruno Groening also spoke about something he called the force of habit. The easiest way to understand this is to just observe yourself throughout the day. And if you notice, what I noticed is that for many moments of the day, I'm actually just running on automatic. So on the spiritual path, that's become less and less, but of course, I still do it sometimes. We have very strongly ingrained habits that really make our decisions for us. And until we overcome these, then in some ways, something else is driving our lives. Bruno Groening called people to reflect on every thought, every word, every action, and to reflect on whether they had thought, spoke, and acted correctly. So through the process of observing ourselves, of reflecting on ourselves, we can notice where we're acting on the force of habit, where habit is making decisions for us. This came to me very strongly I used to go to a group gathering, and there was a person at this gathering who I didn't really like. I'd had some negative interactions with. And but I just kind of kept my distance. At the end of each day, Bruno Groening instructs people to reflect on their whole day, to let their whole day pass before their mind's eye and observe, like, hey, how did I do? And so in doing this, one day I reflected that when I went, and I noticed that when I went to this gathering, I always judged this person. I'd been doing it for quite some time, but I hadn't even noticed. I'd been doing it probably for a good year. And so I noticed it, and then I said, okay, next time I'm not going to judge this person. And Bruno said, when you fall short, you have to firmly resolve not to do it again. Well, next week came, I saw that person, and I judged him. And I didn't even notice. It was only in the nighttime, when I did my nighttime review, that I was like, oh, I did it again. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to judge this person. Next time I see him. So next week I go, and as soon as I see him, I judge him, a negative thought, but I notice it this time. I say, okay, I give that thought away to Bruno. Please, Bruno, help me to not judge this person. So that night, the nighttime review, I'd already noticed it, but I noticed it again. I said, okay, next time I go, I am going to think positive thoughts about this person. And I made that decision. And next week, when I woke up, I was like, okay, it's Sunday. I'm going to see that person. And usually in the morning, what I do is I look at my calendar and I just ask for guidance and help for everything on my calendar. It's like, okay, I'm going to see that person. I'm going to, I'm not going to judge him today. I'm going to think positive thoughts. And I did. First I saw him and I judged him. And then I said, no. And then I started to okay, this is a divine child of God. Yes, I didn't like some things he did, but he's not a bad person. He's a beautiful person. And I actually started to appreciate him. And it took me about 5 weeks, because, I only saw him once a week, to firmly break that habit. But the thing is I hadn't even been aware that I was doing it. That's the force of habit. We do things and we don't even realize we're doing them. So, do we have free will? Yes. And when we're under the force of habit, then our free will, in some of our free will, maybe most, maybe a little, maybe a lot, depends on the person, has actually been covered over. So let's spend a little more time and take in this good energy, noticing what you feel, engaging that will, that intention, that desire to receive the energy of God. absorbing this goodness. We are receiving, but there is an active component of continuing to have that intention to receive. Now, lastly, here's one of the most fascinating aspects of this topic. So, if at the beginning of this talk I said that as a soul, we have the capacity to receive, and primarily what we're receiving is energy and thoughts. Well, Bruno Groening pointed out that the soul is pure and is divine and cannot be tainted. However, when it takes on negative thoughts or takes in negative energy, it doesn't impact the soul, but it's almost like it covers over the soul. And we take that negative energy into our body. And once we've taken that in, Bruno Groening said, we literally become a servant of evil. He was adamant. He said, once you take in one negative thought, you literally become a servant of the devil. He did not mince words on this topic. That once we've associated with evil, we actually serve evil, and the evil acts through us. He said it isn't the human being that does evil, it's the evil. Now, this is a complete reversal of how how human beings think about free will, about our nature, and so I'm not going to say more about it, but I invite people to reflect on it. I've reflected on it deeply. I'm convinced it's true, and it's a very radical way of looking at life and looking at ourselves. In essence, what Bruno Groening said is a human being is always guided. I'm paraphrasing here. I don't remember the exact quote. A human being is always guided. The question is, by what? Meaning, moment by moment, thought by thought, action by action, word by word, we're guided by either God or evil. It's very profound. Hi, Germana. And so I invite people to really reflect. Hi, Jisoo. Said another way, what was his? There was an author who, I can't remember his name right now, and he expressed it this way, is moment by moment, we're guided by inspiration or desperation. I think that's a very poetic and beautiful way to say it. Please don't take my word for it. Please don't take Bruno Groening's word for it. Observe yourself. Observe your words, your thoughts, your actions, and ask, is it possible? Is it true? Not is it possible really, but is it true that moment by moment I'm guided by good or evil, harmony or disorder, inspiration or desperation? So let's take a little more time and take in a little more energy. Noticing what you feel. Taking in the good. Oh, we've got 5 people live right now. It just makes my heart smile. Thanks for saying hi, Germana. Thanks for saying hello, Jisoo. Let's engage our will today, the will to receive the good and to be guided by the good. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Thanks to the person who asked this question that inspired this video. And I wish everyone a beautiful, beautiful, God-filled day. Take care. Much love.